Hey everybody, welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from GiantBomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Microsoft wanting more of your money again. And the most Xbox 360 ass series could return soon. It's going to be a good one because we have Lex Luddy on the show. Lexi, how are you doing?
Grub, I am so fucking tired. I arrived back home from Japan after a full day of traveling, more than a day of traveling. So I've been home for like less than 12 hours at this point. But I'm doing pretty good. Japan was busy. It was a lot. I did a lot of the touristy things. I'm glad I did a lot of the touristy things. Went to the Nintendo Museum, as you can probably see.
Oh, that's a great shirt. Wow. Fans of it's disc system shirt for people who are wondering a Famicom.
I bought this and a Virtual Boy discs, shirt and mugs for both of them. And that was
very cool.
That was the majority of the merch I bought because it's funnier to own these ones. And they were out of Wii and Wii U stuff, weirdly enough.
God.
Yeah. And went to TGS for the first time. That was a lot of fun. That was extremely overwhelming. Went to the 8.4 TGS party, met some fine folks, met Gabe from 8.4.
Yep. Shouts out.
Yeah, those people are awesome. Had a bunch of people recognize me from Giant Bomb stuff, which was very weird. So that was cool. But yeah, it was a really good holiday. I'm feeling reinvigorated to cover video games, and the good news is the state of the industry, it makes it easy to be enthusiastic about video games right now. Let's go.
Yeah, it's all blue skies and rainbows over here. It's just nothing but good stuff. Yeah, so you had a good trip. Did you have and I understand you were there for Tokyo Game Show, so you were doing work, but do you have any other works that you want to tell people about?
Yes, I do. While I was gone, right after I left, this arrived. If you can't see this is a really fucking big book. This is the latest Lock On from Lost in Cult. And I wrote a piece for this, which, God, this book is heavy.
Yeah, look at that.
You can see there. I wrote this almost 2 years ago now, but I'm very glad that it is finally out there. This is a piece on Breath of the Wild and myself, and my own personal history with that game. I'm really proud of this piece. I'm really glad that it's out in the world. I will say, if you pick up this book, which you should, there is some incredible writers in there. There's some great interviews with different people who worked on Final Fantasy. There's a bunch of really cool writers in there. If you want to read my section, I will warn you, there's no content warning on my actual stuff, but I'm going to issue a big old content warning on that for mental health stuff, for eating disorder stuff, for gender dysphoria stuff. It is not an easy read, my section, but I've gotten some nice comments and feedback on it for the people that have read it. But if you are going to read it, just be aware of those things.
Well, I think it's very cool. Very proud of you. I'm going to pick this thing up. I love the look of it always.
Yeah, it's so
such a top tier design. Yeah,
all of that, and over 550 pages of stuff that is all that high quality.
Yeah, they always get it right of you just flipping through there and the flashes of color as you go from one story to the next, and they all have their own feel. It's just it's enticing. Makes me want to hop into a book like that and just start reading.
Yeah, but it's good enough that while I was gone, it arrived to my parents' house, and my dad has just been reading random ones.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, these are really good. People can write some really good stuff about video games. And I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it be nice if everyone else knew that? That's a rant that I want to get out of the way at the end of the show. Instead of promoting my work, I have a rant.
Okay, fantastic. You want to get to that at the end, you're saying? Whenever you want.
I'll do that at the end.
All right, sounds good. Look, win them over one at a time. Just send that book to random people and just let them casually pick it up like your dad did. That's the way we're going to do it. All right, let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb, video game doofuses. We're independent games media out here on our own. That means we only do this because of your help. You go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. That helps us do what we do over here, and your support goes a long way. The support we have received has gone a long way. We are super thankful for everyone who has shown up for us so far. And if you want to join that and kind of keep us going here in the future, we would really appreciate that. Once again, that's giantbomb.com/join to become a premium member. If you can't, if money's tight, if you want to save your money, we get that. Tell a friend. That's also a great way to help us grow. We're doing this show, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tell them to tune in and then take it from there. And we would love to see some new people join the community. As far as this show does go, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into.
That so much.
So let's start the morning mess with Game Pass price hikes announced again. Will cost $30 a month for Ultimate. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. Microsoft has announced another Xbox Game Pass price hike. We can just call these the annual Call of Duty price hikes at this point now, Lexi. With the Ultimate tier going up to $30 per month. Microsoft is making this change just ahead of Call of Duty Black Ops 7's release in November. It follows a price increase on Xbox consoles that was announced last week. God, that was only a week ago. For now, however, you could still get a 1-month Game Pass Ultimate subscription for $20 at Amazon. That's not going to last soon. I think the price is going up like right now. Microsoft is making the price changes as part of a wider claim, that it's giving people more than before to help justify the price hike. We know not everyone wants the same thing in their Xbox experience, so we're doing you a favor, and I'm adding that part. So we're evolving Game Pass to offer more flexibility, choice, and value to all players. Microsoft lied. New plan named pricing. Here's the details. Xbox Game Pass Essentials, $10 a month. That's basically Xbox Live Gold, right? It does have some games in there. There's games that are a part of
it's 50, around 50-ish. Yeah.
It's just north of 50, I believe. Right. Then Xbox Game Pass Premium, also not day one games, but quite a bit more. You get like north of 200 games.
Yeah, I think it's 100 or 200 games.
Yeah, something like that. And then Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is $30 a month. That is day one games. They are adding some other stuff here. You know what? We should just
Grub.
Please,
day one
please
games, not including Call of Duty.
Not including Call of Duty, which just seems notable. But you will need one of these tiers to play online with Call of Duty. Okay, let's read through here. For Game Pass Ultimate, subscribers are now getting more day one games than ever before, along with access to Fortnite Crew and Ubisoft Plus Classics. Members also get enhanced Xbox Cloud gaming streaming quality up to 1440p. Fortnite Crew, which costs $12 a month by itself, comes to Game Pass Ultimate on November 18th. Fortnite Crew gives members the latest Fortnite Battle Pass, along with 1,000 V-Bucks each month, in addition to other benefits. Ubisoft Plus Classics, meanwhile, costs $16 a month on its own and includes a variety of Ubisoft games for PC, console, and the cloud. It's going to be, not necessarily the oldest games. It'll just be games that are not like the newest, freshest releases. Another perk added to Game Pass Ultimate is best quality streaming and shortest wait times for Xbox Cloud gaming. Additionally, honestly, like advertising that is insane because it was so painfully slow before that. Of course, like you're just kind of getting up to par at this point. But whatever.
Also, I need to correct something. It is Call of Duty is coming to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Xbox Game Pass Premium, where they say Xbox games will come within a year. That does not include Call of Duty.
So they're kind of warning people ahead of time, like don't get that, hoping you'll get Call of Duty eventually, I guess. All right, I was confused about that as well. So the breakdown here is Game Pass Ultimate is they're trying to like get it up to $30 a month, and then they're throwing it a bunch of shit at the wall to sort of justify it. Call of Duty was going to be a big part of that equation for a lot of people. Ubisoft Classics, yeah, okay, I guess some more games in there is better than nothing. And then Fortnite Crew, God, I think if you want Fortnite Crew, you already know, and you probably already have it. I suppose that is another value in there, but hey, $30 a month, I'm out. I'm done. I was Momentum kept me with $20 per month on the Xbox over there. I will occasionally get Essential to play games online on the Xbox if I were ever to need that again, although I can't imagine that I will. I'm done. I'm out. How about you?
Let me tell you something anecdotally. I thought I had already cancelled this,
Yeah.
and I went to double check, and turns out the page to cancel your Xbox Game Pass subscription having a little bit of trouble loading right now for people.
Oh
Um,
shit.
and turns out I hadn't, so I cancelled it. But I said this on Blue Sky. The last couple of weeks, it feels like Microsoft, especially, but a lot of companies, they have turned off the music at the party and they are
Yes.
waiting for people to go home. Like, it
Hmm.
feels like I've had this conversation. I've been at Gamescom, I've been at TGS, and the conversation that keeps on coming out is, hey, I think Microsoft are done. Like, they are done
Yep.
being interested in this space. They are done growing in this space. They have realized that the death grip that they have on services in this space with stuff like Azure and stuff like their platforms means that people who are dependent on them are already so dependent on them that they couldn't leave if they wanted to. And they are now just focused on monetizing who is there as much as they can. And they're doing all that so that they can fuel the AI bullshit. This has all been pent up, so if I am going long, let me know.
Mm.
But this is something I've
Go
been
to
thinking a
town.
lot and I've been talking a lot about with folks with. This is really fucking dangerous what's going on right now because Microsoft as a company is de-emphasizing diversifying and is instead going, we are just investing all of our stuff into AI. At a time where AI seems less stable and like it is a bubble more and more and more and more. And you are having a situation where they are investing billions and billions and billions of dollars into AI, something that people are very aware is becoming more and more of a speculative bubble. And if that bubble is to burst, which it most likely is, as the services stop showing they continue to not show the rewards that were promised. But if that bubble does finally burst, I think like Sam Altman was out there saying like we still need this many billions and trillions invested in it, and it's like to see what profit, like when are we going to see money being made back off of this? You are going to have a lot of very big companies that are very ingrained in the games industry, saddled with a lot of debt. And I think that when this happens, you are going to see one, people on the gaming side pay for a lot of that money that needs to be paid back through layoffs. And two, if it gets bad enough, like Microsoft have invested more money in AI than like pretty much any company except
Yes.
for OpenAI.
Mhm.
There is a non-0% chance that like Microsoft needs a bailout, which is something that you would think of as impossible years ago. But you also look at the way that Microsoft positions itself to the American government right now, which is, hey, we're your friends and we love working with you and we're the good company to work with.
Yep.
And so if you had a situation where the American government bailed out Microsoft, I think that would be pretty bad for, let's say, things like free speech,
Hmm.
things like independence of thought, independence of like media. So, not to come on here and be a doomer instantly from my trip back, but boy, things are in a real precarious situation and it affects more than just games right now. And I think that we are seeing the telltale signs in the game sector, where Microsoft has basically decided, like, they don't want you buying an Xbox anymore. They don't want you buying that hardware. They want to sell you Call of Duty on other platforms because it's easier for them to deal with on other platforms. And I think that, like, we probably will see that next Xbox just from inertia built up. But straight up, I think it is going to be Dreamcast levels of how long that thing is on the market. If I were like making my early prediction, calling my shot, whatever the next Xbox is, if it comes out in 2027, I think that was the rumor. I think within 18 months, Xbox will be saying, hey, we're no longer in the console business. Because every single person you talk to at Microsoft, outside of Microsoft, within the industry, their vibe is Microsoft are done with video games. They are ready for it to, instead of be something that they invest in, it to be something that they make reoccurring money off of through established things like Call of Duty every year. They do not want new things out of games. They do not want new ideas out of games. And I think I said this on the show a couple of months back, but like, I fundamentally believe that at this point, Microsoft is an unhealthy actor in the games industry, because the money that it provides and the services that it provides is not good money. It's not stable money. It is money that is being funneled back into AI things and projects that are only going to long-term destabilize several other industries. And yeah, this is one of the canaries in the coal mines of many, and I think we've seen a bunch of them. That be everything from as small as Rare had their 40th anniversary and they got 8BitDo to make the controller, which, like, you think about Microsoft, think about how many special edition controllers they have done over the years. Think about Xbox Design Labs, all of the money that they've spent on that. One of their like internal companies turns 40 years old, one of the most historic companies in video games, and they go, third party can make the special edition controller, we don't really care. Yep. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about the state of Microsoft and Xbox? They are uninterested in the video game industry anymore. Satya Nadella has his new toy, and the $69 billion that they spent, at the time, it seemed like, that's because they really care about the games industry. What it actually was, hey, Microsoft really wants to make sure that they have passive income in the game sector. And now that they have that passive income, they're done trying to get any other type of active income. And that's how it feels right now.
Yeah, I think that when we are looking at Microsoft, it's a company that is just terrified of sticking its head out into the game space anymore. It's done it a bunch of times, and it's gotten whacked on the head a bunch of times when it's done that. And I think, I get the sense that the acquisition of Activision was Phil Spencer striking while the iron was hot and being like, I can get Satya's attention with this, and this can feel like a big play where, like, we do have money sitting in the bank, we can move here. And while he was doing that, AI popped off, and it was like, this is the kind of thing that Satya really gets horny for. And so we kind of have to just step back and do what we can with what we have. And then I think they are, as they step back, it's like, oh no, you are seeding more and more of Microsoft's interest here. And you're never going to get it back. Like, they're never going to return back to the Xbox of old. It's just going to be, okay, what survives this call? And that's going to be obvious. It's going to be Call of Duty, Minecraft. It's not going to be the Xbox hardware division. I mean, clearly they are screaming at us not to buy one of those things. So, yeah. So
I gotta say, because I've seen it in the comments a little bit when I like. You mentioned the BDS boycott every time we bring up Xbox, which is still ongoing. And people have been pretty negative around the Xbox brand. And there is still YouTube comments being like, I can't believe they're so biased against Xbox. And this isn't biased against Xbox. This is, hey, I genuinely think Microsoft is doing some real permanent damage to an industry that I love. And I think you need to be aware of it. I think you need to be aware that what is happening at Microsoft right now is like tantamount to destruction of culture and destruction of the art form. And it's not good for any of us that they are carrying on like this and giving them a free pass in the name of like not playing into fanboy wars or some shit like that. That's not our job. We're reporters. Our job is to call out these companies when they do bullshit. And this is bullshit that harms everyone that likes video games, everyone that plays video games, everyone that wants video games to exist in 10 years fucking time.
Yeah. And, there are a lot of other companies, even like companies that are involved in gaming, that have some form of BDS call against them, Disney to a certain extent. We don't bring that up every time. And I would explain that there's a difference here in that Microsoft spent $70 billion to buy one of the biggest companies, on top of doing that multiple times for several other big publishers. They own a significant market share, a significant piece of the pie of video games is all them. So we have to be we have to scrutinize them more than anyone else at a certain point. And they are laying out a case in front of us for reasons why that scrutiny is necessary. They do feel like they I mean, they're turning off the light. They're turning off the music at the end of the party. I mean, it's over, right? It feels like we're at the end of something. And you know that goes, of course, EA's selling to Saudi Arabia is a huge part of that.
Which, boy, I feel great about. I feel so good about. That was a great fucking news story to wake up to in Japan. Boy, waking up in the morning and seeing that felt awesome.
Yep.
But like, the other conversation that I've had, being at these events, being at Gamescom, being at TGS, I gotta be, and maybe this is because I am one of the most fucking stubborn people in the world. Like, the heat death of the universe will come, and I will still be being like, this space for an independent games media. But like, I am certain that no matter how much these companies, these billion-dollar companies, try to fuck up the games industry, we are still going to get awesome video games. Because you talk to developers at these events, and these people are fucking sickos. They
can't help themselves.
Need to create. They are artists. They need to create. They need to keep on making games like this. They need to do it in the art form that they love. Video games will continue to exist. The types of video games that you like will continue to exist, maybe in different forms with much smaller budgets, but those sickos will still keep making their video games. And I gotta be hopeful that there are people in this industry. I think there are, because I've taken meetings with smaller publishers who are like, we have realized that we need to make the publishing outlets that we want. Publishing outlets that aren't billion-dollar outlets. They are outlets that are making art that we like because we like it. I talked to 11-Bit Studios at Gamescom, and they were very much so from the point of view like, hey, we're Polish and we want the Polish industry to be alive and healthy, so we started a publishing label specifically to start in Poland and to slowly grow out from there, but to focus on making shorter games that are cool and are interesting and don't need to make $1 billion each time because we like cool shit. And those are the meetings that give me hope for the industry continuing to go on. And I gotta hope that there is a lot more companies like that. So yeah,
and you know, and in a lot of ways, nothing new. You know, Microsoft has been afraid of making video games for more than a decade now. Quite a bit more than a decade. All throughout Xbox One, they just didn't seem to care. They didn't think making video games was the answer. Something I would say back then. And then, you know, it's like, oh, Game Pass, maybe that changes that. And if it did, it changed it briefly for a half of a development cycle. And by the time they got to the end of making some of these games, like a Perfect Dark, it was like, no, this isn't it either. We don't like making games. That we just, this feels bad to like take a creative risk like this. And what good are you to me as someone who's into video games if that is your position, that making video games is not a worthwhile investment, and instead it's a bunch of other bullshit and nickel and diming people who you've already got in your pocket. It sucks. All right, we should keep moving here. It looks like Prototype could be coming back after a Steam update added new credits. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. An update to the Steam version of Prototype has added new credits and references to Ubisoft Connect, which could point to a re-release of the game. The surprise update has added references to a Ubisoft Connect version of the game, something that doesn't currently publicly exist, suggesting the game could be re-released on modern platforms. The update also adds credits for Iron Galaxy, the prolific studio behind several notable ports, including the Switch versions of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Diablo 3, and Overwatch. As pointed out by users on the game's subreddit, the update was noticed after it broke the popular Prototype mod, Prototype Fix, which is designed to fix some of the issues encountered when running the game on modern PCs. A new test map has also been discovered within the PC version of the game, while more new credits have since been discovered, largely attributed to other Activision studios. So like that test map is like the Prototype character running up a wall, and it's made of different materials, and it sounds like they fixed some of the sound effects or improved them and stuff like that. So when you're running up a glass building or whatever, it sounds different than a brick building, and that feels like the kind of work that Iron Galaxy might be doing. Now, it was
using their Rumbleverse expertise.
I mean, that's some real shit right there. I think that this sounds like the kind of thing that would happen. We are like overdue for Prototype to kind of come back in one way or another. But yeah, like at this point, would this surprise you?
No, Jamie H in Twitch chat mentions that prototype greater than Infamous. I super agree. Having
I agree.
played Infamous, like the first Infamous I played last year on Twitch stream, that game sucks now. It's really rough. Every character in that seems like they were there on January 6th.
Yeah.
Like Cole
they got a vibe to them.
Yeah, Cole McGrath's whole character arc is I want to get my dick wet. That's it. That's his only characteristic.
His name's Cole.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm curious to see what a next gen version of Prototype would play like. Hulk Ultimate Destruction is still fucking awesome.
Yes, it is.
I don't think we will see a new Prototype because that is an Activision property. And I don't think that they're in the habit of making new video games that aren't called Call of Duty or World of Warcraft anymore. But yeah, I think we will continue to see a bunch of remakes like this. And sure, why not?
Yeah. Did a new Killer Instinct ever get announced? Because like Iron Galaxy feels like the studio that would take that on for Microsoft. And I know there was a rumor a long time ago. I heard it. Some evidence that Microsoft was curious about it, but they couldn't find a studio. That's back when Iron Galaxy was busy with Rumbleverse. I feel like that timing has passed. Microsoft wouldn't be interested in that anymore. And instead it's like, well, hey, Iron Galaxy, come pitch us on stuff. Well, you want to do something new? Fuck you. Go remake some video games for us that we know have a certain audience to them.
That was going to be my counterpoint was like, do you think Microsoft is like, hey, we want a new fighting game right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think anyone? Do you think Satya Nadella is approving that of like, oh yeah, a new FGC fighting game only on Xbox? No.
Yep. No. Unlikely. I really like the Prototype games. At least that I played most of the first one. It's kind of the one I played a lot of, and thought it just feels like the most 360 ass shit ever. Where it is stupid in a good way, and I would welcome it back. A little surprised that Activision would go and do this effort to get this stuff back, but I guess they've had success repeatedly now bringing back franchises. Maybe they're going to try to shift it up from some of their like old platforming stuff to things like this instead. And again, I welcome it. All right, let's take a break. We are going to come right back, get to more headlines. If you want to skip out on this, you can do so on the premium audio version of the show, the premium video version of the show by going to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. But you didn't do that, so we'll be right back. All right, we are back. We got plenty more to talk about. EA says there will be no immediate changes to its workforce following leveraged buyout. This is from Sophie McAvoy at gamesindustry.biz. Just what every girl wants to hear, right? There's no immediate changes coming to your workforce. And the headline's mostly the story here. People have been wondering, hey, what's the future for the jobs and our jobs at EA now that we are being acquired and taken private by a Saudi Arabian investment firm, as well as other like Silver Lake and Jared Kushner. And the reason that they could say there's no immediate changes right now is because there is no real plan other than we have to service $20 billion in debt that has now been saddled on EA, through JP Morgan.
I'm not sure if you saw, has been labeled like, what was it, B plus or B minus?
Yes, it's a junk bond. Yes, it's a B. I think it's So debt for a company can be serviced in a bunch of different ways. In this case, JP Morgan is putting up that $20 billion, but they intend to then sell that debt to a bunch of others through high interest rate loans or high interest rate payments, because this is it's rated B, which is essentially saying to everyone who would invest in this, there is a strong chance that you won't get all of your money back here. So there's high risk.
And why wouldn't they get all that money back, Grub?
Yeah, because the $20 billion, just think about what happened to Toys R Us. This is what's now happening to EA. Now, the good news, again, I've said this before, EA is much more profitable than Toys R Us was. Toys R Us was struggling against Amazon. Now, that does not mean Toys R Us was a failing company. It failed because of the debt, and that could happen here. But the point is, the reason it's more likely today for that failure to happen than it was when we were talking about this on the Bombcast yesterday is because of that B rating. That means that the interest rates will be much higher. So EA is going to have to pay even more than we were originally thinking. It's gonna be bad. And how do you pay for this, Lexi? You cut jobs. You cut jobs and let AI do the work, or at least that's what you tell yourselves, so that you can justify this. And who's going to get bonus payments? All the people that put this deal together. Fucking Jared Kushner, I guarantee it's going to get a huge bonus pay multiple times out of this deal. They will extract the value out of the company and then watch it shrivel and die.
I think he has gone a little bit under the radar with the other big names attached to this because there's some real fucking assholes attached to this. But special shout out to human android Andrew Wilson, who like got a lot of shit over the years as like a pretty bad CEO and a pretty robotic presence in the games media. The idea of putting this deal together and then getting out in front of your staff and saying that there'll be no immediate changes, the idea of saying that you're still dedicated to making these video games, the idea that you wouldn't fucking resign in shame the second this happened, and that you're going to stay there a little bit longer to make sure that your golden parachute is even more golden, fuck you. Go to hell, you absolute asshole.
He did his job though, right? Like his job.
He's done his.
Yep. Who does he work for? He works for the investors, and who's he making money for here? He's making money for the investors. The system is working as intended. The 25% return on that stock price. That's huge. That's big stuff. Making video games, taking care of your employees. That's a sucker's job. He's not interested in any of that. That's not what he's there to do. That's the system. That's how it would work at every single company. Something has to be done about the system, man. We have to change this. The incentives have all pushed us in this direction. They're winning the game that they set up. What do we do about it? We don't go and try to beat this game. There is no winning this game. It will always end up here every single time.
So, before I left for Japan, I rewatched The Big Short for the first time since it came out. And since I rewatched that, I have felt like fucking the main guy in that, just like watching the entire system and hearing these testimonials and hearing these people brag about how they're like conning the like fucking layperson and making so much money off of them and deconstructing the fucking industry that they are meant to be the leadership of, and stripping it for parts. And holy shit, I feel like Anthony Bourdain after he went to like Gaza, where he's like, I want to beat fucking what's his name to death with my bare hands. Yeah. I don't know, this might sound bad, but boy, I'm fucking angry right now. I am like legit so angry at the state of the world, at the people that are running this shit, at the people that are deconstructing the hobby that I love, the like hobby that I have found so much joy in, that I know is so capable of so many great fucking things. You look at the video games that are coming out right now, there are so many fucking incredible video games. There are art forms that would die to have this level of creativity and this level of high production values and like genuinely like emotional and affecting and like disruptive and different art in it. And we are pissing that all away because at some point we let the fucking people with the money books in and they took control of the industry. They took control of the whole fucking thing. And I genuinely think that like, if I log on to Blue Sky or Twitter and I see one more fucking person give out about how woke is ruining video games, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit.
That's all part of the plan too.
Shit. Yep. Holy shit, motherfuckers. They are fucking robbing you blind right underneath you. They are stripping the industry that you claim you love, that you're obsessed over attacking people over and defending with your right-wing bullshit, because they realize that if they make you angry enough, they can get you to like look at the jangling keys that they are shaking and they can just rob you blind. And yeah, this sucks. This fucking sucks. I think everyone involved in this deal genuinely deserves to be like regarded as a fucking monster. Not from the point of view of like, oh, we're gonna get less video games. That sucks. That sucks for the industry. But they are going to fucking ruin so many lives with this.
Yep. It is. I can imagine people tuning into this show and hearing us do our thing here, Lexi, and it sounds familiar and it sounds like despair, and it is. And I have made a decision recently, like we got to offer up something alternative. We have to like kind of point people in the direction of like what do we think can be done. Now, the sad thing is a lot of these things, not a lot we can do, but there is one specific thing that would put a dent in all of this and could kind of bring things back into a balance a little bit, and that is taxing billionaires. This will be the thing I will just be bringing up forever now, over and over again. This is if you want something to be done, if you're sick of complaining and you want to do something going forward, we have to support people who are willing to tax wealth. Taxing billionaires they can play their games, and then they still have to play our game, which is taxing billionaires and doing something about wealth inequality. And if that is, it's the one thing, it's the only thing. And if in that case, if they want to like go ahead and steal the wealth from these companies and destroy something that has existed for a long time and produced works of art that are worthy of conversation and worthy of our time, fine. But we're going to get that money back in the end. And people will point out all the reasons why taxing wealth is challenging. And I don't like that's the reason to do it. We do tough things all the time. Let's do this tough thing.
That's why we fucking elected you. Like, yes. if we were electing you to do easy shit, we wouldn't need to elect you. Motherfucker, do your job. Instead of getting out there on Blue Sky and being like, well, they're sending the troops into fucking wherever. What if we just like got good health care? Motherfucker, you have something to do right now. Just do it. You have your job to do. You have your mandate.
Keep going here. EA was reportedly looking to sell off Mass Effect developer before Saudi acquisition. This is from Jake Valentine at DualShockers. Yesterday came news of EA's deal. With it came countless questions. Came countless questions, one of which it was about the future of not just Electronic Arts, but the developers and properties under that umbrella. Fans were already worried about what this means for the future of Mass Effect and that series and the developer. After 2017's Mass Effect Andromeda flopped, developer BioWare made the decision to let the franchise take a break for a few years. Several years later, however, came the news that a new entry in the series was in development, presumably taking place directly after the events of the original Mass Effect trilogy. The trilogy itself was remastered, blah, blah, blah. A new report from Insider Gaming details that EA reportedly looked to sell the studio, presumably following the release of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Obviously, that didn't come to fruition, but it paints an ugly picture about the future of the iconic developer. That feels like one where like they were trying to avoid the really bad PR that probably would have done a small dent in their stock price, right? Oh, you can't even figure out how to handle BioWare. That this is a high-profile failure. So, hey, can we just sell them to somebody and make some money, and then investors will be happy about that? And here we are, like this kind of solves that problem for them. Although I just don't think any of this is good news for the future of BioWare. That feels like a game rife for a idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about to walk in the room and be like, can't we save money by giving a lot of this development over to AI?
More than that, this is something I talked a little bit about on Blue Sky. Just looking at the cultural IP that Saudi Arabia and the Kushners now own. Kushner, what's his company called again? It slipped my mind.
His is Affinity Partners.
Affinity Partners is essentially like a financial branch of Donald Trump's personal wealth. Like, it is part of his ecosystem, and it is designed to help make him deals that will financially benefit him. And it is also, EA is now owned by PIF, which is the Saudi government. And you look at the IP that they now own, and you consider the things that those two extremely conservative groups want out of its creative art, what it wants out of its media, we are going to see levels of sport washing and military bravado and bullshit that we are, as an industry, truly unprepared for. I do not think that people are prepared for like the level of You know, I bet Medal of Honor gets brought back in some form if this all goes through as some AI bullshit, and I bet new Medal of Honor has a very different tone than old Medal of Honor, and has some very different things to say about war. I think that, like, new Mass Effect, if it ever does show up, is not what Mass Effect once was. It is not telling the stories that it once was. Um, and moreover, I think that if like the people who now own EA look at what Mass Effect is, look at like, hey, this is our storyboards, this is where we're going with the game, they're gonna look at that and go, yeah, we don't want this company anymore. Because we don't fancy telling stories that even go near any of this stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, I think there's like the chances of a new Mass Effect actually getting out were pretty low as it was. Like they had an uphill climb as it was. Um, I don't, I don't think they last more than 6 months. I don't think they get past the keys being handed over. Like I think BioWare is gone before the keys get handed over and the company goes fully private.
Yeah. I think that there is, excuse me, there's a chance that, when they gather up all these IPs, they just look around and be like, hey, we could make a movie based on Mass Effect and some of this other stuff. And so maybe we do want a game. Like someone could sort of like fool them once and get that stuff done and kind of keep things going under those guises. That there is every chance that doesn't happen as well.
They don't do that with Mass Effect because you think of who the owners are now. The thing that they're going to want to turn into a movie is Battlefield. Because you look at the story set up for the new Battlefield, which is, hey, America versus mysterious forces across the world who are somehow threatening American independence. And they go, that's a story we want to tell in our current political climate because that's a story that rallies people to our side. It's the fucking James Bond thing that you talked about. Of James Bond was created when the British Empire was shrinking and English people needed to project that the British Empire was still important. The American Empire is fucking shrinking at the moment, and there are American corporations that need to project that America is still important. And now you have...
That's good business, yeah.
Yeah, now you have the leaders, or the brother of the leader of the American regime, or not the brother, the... son-in-law, owning one of those companies, and there is no way in hell that they don't see that as a way to, like, create media that boosts American morale in the way that they want to boost it. And so, yeah, I think you're gonna, like, if we're lucky, EA doesn't make any more fucking video games. If we're unlucky, they become a fucking arm of propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we've already seen Saudi Arabia be willing to help with stuff like that, and with like owning SNK and kind of just throwing some stuff into that game. They've interfered. I don't think that is a road they stop walking down. It just gets worse.
They're not
and worse.
A light touch owner. They are not
especially in this case, I don't think. All right, let's keep going here. The Silent Hill remake Materializes out of the fog, enters full production. This is from Claire Jackson at Kotaku. Silent Hill is ascendant once more following Bluebird Team's well-received remake of Silent Hill 2 last year. The studio has confirmed that a remake of the series' 1999 debut, Silent Hill, has entered full production. So we kind of knew this was coming. They have finished Chronos, and now they are moving on to this. And I think most people are happy to hear it at this point. Even Chronos not being like a slam dunk or anything like that. It's a game that people generally are like, yeah, this is still an upward trajectory. If you take Silent Hill 2 out of it, it still feels better than what they were doing before. And that's kind of what people want to see from this team.
I beat that game. I actually super like that game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
It's really solid. It is kind of what I want out of horror stuff, which is one, like, different, and two, also it feels workmanlike and craftsmanlike. It's like, we know what we're doing. We are going to make one of these. It is going to have this tone. The other thing that I really appreciate it is that it is inherently Polish. It is very, very steeped in the country and the politics of post-World War II Poland, and it is all about that. And it's something that you wouldn't see. It is, in a way that, like, Silent Hill feels like something that is inherently made by Japanese people and their sensibilities. This is something that feels like it is steeped in Polish sensibilities and Polish politics. And I think that's really cool. I would love to see more writing from Polish people on like what they think of that game. I would love to see some perspectives on that. But yeah, I think that they're the right people to do these remakes. I think that these remakes this remake has benefited them as a studio as much as it's benefited Konami. And I think that like they are definitely becoming more equipped to tell the stories that they wanted to tell from the beginning. So yeah.
All right. Up next, the 4 most requested Xbox franchise revivals. This is from Eric Fredrickson at GameSpot. This is such a silly thing because this is a Phil Spencer out there kind of talking about this. So let's go through it. With so many studios under one umbrella, Microsoft has one of the biggest back catalogs of game franchises in the industry, if not the biggest. And yet certain titles stand out among the countless many. In an interview with IGN Japan, Xbox boss Phil Spencer talked about some of the most requested revivals among a variety of other topics. Spencer noted in an interview that the most highly requested titles from Microsoft's back catalog are Japanese RPGs Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, and Western titles Crimson Skies and Mech Assault. Why?
Good
why
news! You're never going to
this?
see any of them again. You are never going to hear from them again.
Why does he still do this? Why go out there and still be the clown, putting on the show, being like, hey, it's. We're just sit, everyone sit tight. Everything's about to begin. You're going to get all your dreams, and
for the gamers.
Yeah, it's baffling to me that like just at this certain point, stop talking, go make the games if you're making the games, and then put the stuff out, and then we'll believe you. This just feels sick at this point.
Going to TGS, that TGS fucking live stream was one of the worst live streams I've ever seen from the point of view of like. You clearly are doing this out of obligation and you have no interest. There was one game there that the Japanese market would actually give a shit about, and that was Ninja Gaiden 4. And every other game that you saw at that show was like, nobody in Japan gives a flying fuck about this shit. They do not care about Call of Duty. Maybe you have some PC Japanese gamers who like Flight Simulator, but it is not like a big part of the market. I think Microsoft getting out there, still being like, oh, we're big in Japan, we're making a play for Japan, is like almost, at this point, it seems like a self-flagellation ritual. Like, Phil Spencer must just enjoy the embarrassment, because they had big fucking posters up at TGS with the This is an Xbox campaign, and holy shit, man, that country does not give a crap about Xbox games. The idea of getting out there and being like, yeah, I would love to bring back Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey. No, you fucking wouldn't. You have no interest in doing business with Sakaguchi again. You have no interest in, like, spending money on getting one of those games off the ground and making a big, expensive RPG again. You don't. Stop lying to us.
Yeah, I've heard like rumors about Crimson Skies specifically. That seems, that was a long time ago, and I always chalk that up to, sure, maybe people bring that up, but at this point, like after the latest round of layoffs and canceling projects, there's no way they're still making that. There's no way that they're doing any of these things. I mean, I just, if I were him, I would just be like, look, we'll let our games speak for themselves. Like, I get he's got to still be rah and go to town, do that stuff, but be rah about things that people can actually believe in at this point, because I just don't believe anything he's saying about this sort of thing anymore. It feels especially weird to still be doing this same sort of trick that he's done a million times before, as if nothing's changed. And I get he's not talking to us. He's talking to people that are going to spend $1,000 on the Xbox Roger LIX. But I don't know. We still hear it, and I'm sick of it. Amazon to relaunch reimagined Luna game platform, starting with an AI-powered Snoop Dogg party game. Just what everyone wants to hear. Let's go. This is from Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Amazon's cloud gaming platform is getting a big rethink. That's in quotes in 2025. The company announced Wednesday, promising a completely redesigned and reimagined Amazon Luna that combines innovative social party games with amazing blockbusters. That's a quote. In addition to streaming hits like Hogwarts Legacy, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the new Luna will include Game Night, a collection of family-friendly social party games. Game night will offer familiar favorites like Angry Birds, Exploding Kittens, Ticket to Ride, and Clue. It will also include
All the
original
stars
games
are here.
developed by Amazon, including launch title Courtroom Chaos starring Snoop Dogg, which Amazon describes as a human-built, AI-powered improv courtroom game where players invent outrageous characters, spin wild stories, and do whatever it takes to defend their testimonies before Judge Snoop Dogg. I have to play this. I got to see this for myself.
Well, maybe, we were talking about like video game industry will continue because there's passion there. Maybe we should all just go home.
Yeah, this is look, I guess does everyone know what Amazon Luna even was? It was Amazon's Google Stadia with a slightly more sane business model where it wasn't necessarily about subscribe and then also buy the games. Stadia just made no sense. Amazon Luna is a little bit more just buy the game and then you can stream it on Amazon Luna, I think, and it's like you don't have to buy a console. If I'm running this cloud platform, I get that like the only ground you can go to is like the most casual audience, the one that would not buy a console. But if they're not buying a console, how moved are they going to be by any of this stuff? I suppose if you get a streaming hit or something like that, like a hit that's like very popular on Twitch, maybe that catches on. People go, okay, where do I play this? Oh, I can click this one button here on Twitch that's going to connect me to Amazon Luna. But this game sounds terrible. And there's like an indie version of this, like I think there's a game where you play as sock puppets, and you have to like go into courtroom and kind of put on your case and stuff like that. And there is no AI Snoop Dogg, which to me sounds like a step up. I don't know. Sounds like a nightmare over there. What do you think?
I'd rather not think about it.
Yeah, I'd rather just they stop. I kind of just need to see this for myself. I'm morbidly curious. I'm gonna have to play the Snoop Dogg AI.
This is gonna wind up on your fucking top 10 list. Don't lie. I know you.
Probably yes. Are there physics-based objects in there? Then I'll be into it. Fallout 76 adds Walton Goggins The Ghoul, or I guess Walton Goggins is The Ghoul in big New Vegas inspired update. This is from I wrote Giovanni Colantonio. Should be Giovanni Colantonio at Polygon. Fallout 76 is getting its largest update since 2020 this December with Burning Springs, the new expansion to Bethesda's MMO takes players to Ohio. Is that like Yellow Springs reference? Ohio for a new suite of content inspired by Fallout 3 and New Vegas. It will also tie into Amazon's Fallout series just in time for Season 2 by adding the Ghoul to the game, fully voiced by Walton Goggins. Fallout 76 does feel like one that has made it work. I don't know if we ever get another one of these like this again from a company like Bethesda under Microsoft, where they like sort of brute force their way to a success with the game after having a rough launch. But they've come full circle here, and they're delivering probably exactly what that audience wants: fun stuff related to the TV show that they like, right?
Yeah, I have a friend who recently got back into Fallout 76 and was like, this is, after all of their updates, they really have like, this is just a solid Fallout game. It is probably like more of what you want from a Fallout game than even Fallout 4 was. Like they have added more role-playing into it than Fallout 4 had in a lot of ways. Because at some point when you have a live service game, adding role-playing elements is the thing that you do. You've added everything else. And like, I don't know, I'm glad Fallout 76 exists. I think it now has the opposite problem of there's maybe too much content for me to get into it. But boy, I wish there was a new Fallout New Vegas to play going along with that new season, or maybe a remaster. And that doesn't seem like that's near anytime soon.
Yeah, yes. It feels like we are going to have to kind of continue to be in a holding pattern on anything else Fallout. Who was it? Virtuos who did the Oblivion? Okay, so yeah, I think they had layoffs after they did Oblivion and like Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is
Virtuos,
just insane.
I wrote about this. I wrote about this before it became a news story, and then it became a news story. And I was like, I wrote about this and no one noticed.
Oh, that
Virtuos was one of the companies that was like heavily affected by Microsoft
Yes.
stopping a bunch of contract projects. And the way that was explained to me was, even though Virtuos is very big and there's a lot of demand for its work. If a project that it is working on at this very moment gets cancelled, you can't just fill that in. You can fill in things that are 6, 10, 12 months away, because there's lots of people that will want you to work on stuff in 12 months. Most people don't have stuff that they want you to work on right now because they have already made their partnerships. So they wound up with a lot of employees with nothing that they could work on, nothing that they could be assigned to, and their only realistic option was to lay them off quietly. And so, yes, Virtuos, it wasn't like, Oblivion underperformed and they had to do layoffs. No. Like, no, that did fine for them. They got paid for that. That was a good contract. They had other contracts that they were working on, and those got cancelled along with games or work that they were supporting on other games that were cancelled as part of that. Like, I would not be surprised if Virtuos was one of the support studios on Perfect Dark or something. But when that stuff fell through, they suddenly had just a big hole in their spreadsheet and they had to lay people off.
Yep. All right, that's going to do it for the headlines. We have a poll question from earlier this week that we should catch up on. Let's go ahead and get the results right now. I'm going to refresh the page, make sure we have the most up-to-date results for have you ever played Parasite Eve? That was the question. Your options were yes or no, and 36% said yes, 64% said no. Yeah, that's really high. That's with 4,000 votes. Now, of course, a poll like this is always going to be self-selecting. People who don't care about Parasite Eve will just skip the question entirely. But still, 36% is higher than I would have expected. I think that does say that, like, hey, the people that are doing that spiritual successor, you're probably walking into a welcoming space of people who are looking to get more of that. Because you don't get the 36% of 4,000 people voting in a poll like this without having people going back to Parasite Eve and be like, I'm going to go try that game relatively recently. And I think that just speaks to interest in different kinds of JRPGs and different kinds of RPGs in general. So yeah, I'm curious to see like how that shows up for that game. All right, we have a new poll question. We'll get to that here in a second. Before we do that, Lexi, why don't you remind people about where they can find you on the internet? Tell them once more about that book. Do you still have your rant? Feel free to do that now. Go to town.
Lost in Cult, lock on. Check it out, Volume 6. You can find me on Blue Sky at lexluddy.xyz. I wanted to quickly talk about something that I have had a lot of conversations with at Gamescom and TGS, and that is review coverage and codes. I have talked to so many PR and developers who are like, hey, we are really struggling to get coverage of our games right now. We are really struggling to get games media to cover our games in a real fashion, and it is affecting things. And let me tell you, that almost made my mind explode, because in the last month, I have had so many times where I have tried to get codes for coverage on either Start Menu or Rewinder or pitching to other outlets as a freelancer, and I have been stonewalled. I've been told we don't have codes to send out right now. We don't have the ability to send out right now. And the reason that this has happened, and I've talked to a lot of people about it, is publishers only want big hits right now when it comes to news beats. They only want stuff like Game Informer cover pages or IGN main spreads. They are not interested in the smaller hits.
And by the way, that's the list, by the way, of like the big things that they care about. It's like IGN and Game Informer. Yeah.
And so, boy, when Game Informer went away, it would have been real interesting to see what they would have done if it hadn't come back. But right now, games media can't stand out or doesn't stand out because it is essentially just issuing press releases, and like that's what video game news is right now, is issuing press releases. And when it comes to sponsored content and streaming content, influencers have them beat. And what games media needs is to be able to stand out in some way for it to continue to grow. And I genuinely think that the way forward for games media is curation as a, hey, this is what we think is good. This is stuff that we can recommend to you. We can cut through the noise. We can tell you if you are interested in this game. And games media acts as a curator by getting access to things for review. And right now, a lot of games media isn't getting access to things for review. You saw this with Borderlands 4. It had like 40 reviews at release. And most of those were very selective codes that were sent out to outlets that Gearbox knew would probably give a good review. And I think that this is unbelievably short-sighted by publishers, and it's something that PR also knows, because PR understand that if games media doesn't exist...
They did this job.
Yeah, they don't exist. If there is no games media, there is no need for public relations or press relations. And so you have a situation where I am begging publishers to make codes available to smaller outlets. Because right now, you have Game Informer and you have IGN, and you have a lot of other websites that are struggling and slowly shrinking or being bought or changing in some ways, and you have no one who is being grown from the ground up to fill in their spot in 30 years' time. There is no outlet that is being given the support that Game Informer was given 30 years ago to build that baseline of content, to build that baseline of writers and inbuilt knowledge and expertise. And unless game publishers and PR and developers make it codes and review codes accessible to smaller outlets to grow the next Game Informer, you will not have any curators. You will not have anyone who are able to direct people towards your content. And the only way that a game will ever get big again is if it has a big fucking marketing campaign. You will not have people being able to find games organically. And I genuinely believe this. I genuinely think that like games media can act, and Danny O'Dwyer's out doing this with NoClip 2 and indie games. They're doing a great job at highlighting some really cool stuff. I think that other outlets could be doing a way better job at it, but I think that if you want to start somewhere, you start by sending smaller outlets review codes. You start by understanding that not every review is going to be a positive review, and that is a good thing, because that means that developers can look at those reviews and they can get feedback. The other big conversation that I had at all of these events with developers was starved for feedback. Developers go to Japan because they specifically want to get Japanese feedback. They want to get feedback from a different segment of the market to where they are based. You have European developers going over there because they're like, we can't get opinions from Japanese people easily in Europe. And every time I played a game at Gamescom or TGS, I had someone asking me, so what did you think? And that's because they wanted feedback. They wanted to know how to make their games better because they love making video games. And if you have reviews, and if you have really good and critical and thoughtful reviews, you will be able to make better video games based on that feedback. And if you don't have that kind of stuff, if you don't have a healthy games press, then you have shit like the Silent Hill review that ran early because someone wasn't explained what an embargo was. And yeah, that's my rant. Make review codes accessible to smaller outlets. Keep games media alive because it makes games better. And fucking support independent media.
Yep. Publishers, listen to your PR people. They know what they're talking about, and they usually have our back. And you're right, it is coming from the publisher side of things. All right, new poll question: have you ever played Prototype? Yes or no? Interested about this one? I bet this one is also a fairly high split of people who have at least played a little bit of Prototype 1 or 2. We'll get the results of this, talk about it on Game Mess Mornings here on Giant Bomb tomorrow. Speaking of Giant Bomb, let's see, today it's Wednesday. That means we return with Blight Club. It's back, a new season. Dan Reichert will be hopping into his game. He doesn't know what it is, but you're going to get to see the debut of his new outfit and his game. It's going to be a good one, everybody.
Quick question, is he going to look cool?
He's going to look cool. He's going to look cool. Yeah, that's the word.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. That's at 2 p.m. Eastern, everybody. So about 2 hours from now. We also have.
Do you want to know what I watched on my flight for
Please.
13 hours? I had a 13-hour flight. I watched 3 episodes of Mike's Bike Club back to back to back to back, and I'm sure I look like a fucking crazy person to the person sitting next to me. But fuck that person, they were watching Harry Potter. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, go to hell. Yeah, gross. Quick looks. Ghost of Yote quick look will be happening. If it's not up now, it'll be up soon. Final Fantasy Tactics, I think we're going to make some stuff happen there. Yeah, a lot more happening on the website. We'll be back with Dump Truck tomorrow. Mike's going to play some Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the website tomorrow evening. So yeah, lots happening here on Giant Bomb. I will try to conquer the Manbreaker on this site at some point. We'll see. It's getting close to breaking me, but I got right there at the end. I just got to do it again and make that last couple of steps. We'll see. All right. I think all that out of the way, we can wrap up the show. Lexi, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games. As always, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that we could do this in coordinating shirts as well.
Yep, good thinking. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. I'm glad we were able to make that happen. Thank you all for watching and listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Oops. All right.